21 or 22 even.
Right.
Oh, dogs. So you're very, very young. Oh, come on, catch up. I mean, I'm just counting 4. So it was, very, very young organization and very bright and colorful.
Welcome to Walking with Vegans to Get Tea, where I, Jordi Casamitjana, walks with another vegan somewhere in the UK and we have tea afterwards. Today I'm in Bournemouth, in a place called Alum Chine. It's a beach in the south of England. I'm going to be talking with Sasha Jolliffe Yasawi, who is also known as Sash, who just happened to be here with me. Hello.
Hi Jordi, how are you doing?
All
Good
right.
to see you. Yes.
So let's walk.
Let's walk.
It's going to be a bit difficult to walk in the sun, I think, so I'm going to make some magic. I'm going to make the sun disappear. Now that's it. No sun anymore.
Go on.
Right, so the way these things work is that we start with the vegan journey. I think it's the best way for people to know a little bit who we are and also to kind of give us credibility, because we talk about veganism, who we are. Well, because we've been vegan for some time. So I'll start myself with my vegan journey and then you join me afterwards. So I've been vegan since the 1st of January 2002, and I grew up in Catalonia, that's where I'm from. I immigrated in the UK in 1993, and then I worked at the Monkey Sanctuary for a while, Primate Sanctuary, then I worked at the Bonfim Foundation. And then when I was at the Bonfim Foundation, working against zoos, I decided that it could not be right that I was eating some animals and consuming others. So I went to an island to spend 23 days in isolation, and I wrote a novel called The Demon's Trial, and through that novel I became a vegan. I went to the island as a meat eater, I came back as a vegan. And that book is a psychological novel, and it's autobiographical. It's really about my life, and it's really an account day by day how my brain became vegan, because the first page, I was a meat eater, and it is about a campaigner that he's put on trial by all the animals that he failed during his life. It's called The Demon's Trial. I used a pseudonym, J.C. Costa, when I wrote it, because I was an undercover investigator, so I didn't want people to know. And I'm put on trial by all the animals that I failed, and I came back from the island as an ethical vegan. So that's my journey. So what about your journey?
Well, my journey, I often tell people that actually started when I was born, to be honest, because I always felt so compelled by sort of justice, activism from very early age, but never considered it as from the ethical veganism point of view, even though that I thought that I cared for the environment and the animals from an early age. I actually attended and participated at my first environmental conference. I think I was 8.
8?
Yes, and I did a speech on a particular endangered species of a plant. Oh, by the way, just to give you a bit of a background, I was born in Kazakhstan and I grew up in Kazakhstan.
I was wondering what the surname came from.
That's it. So, in a school I've always been active. So, and cared for the animals and the environment, etc. So, but it wasn't until about 13 when I declared that I would become a vegetarian.
Right.
I mean, in Kazakhstan, I believe in being vegetarian. I didn't know that anything about veganism at the time. So it's not been known, vegetarianism, so which was pretty much equivalent of being vegan. That was following my experience of the ritual animal slaughter.
Right.
Yeah,
is that Kazakhstan? Is that Muslim country?
Yeah.
Right,
yeah. So I mean, it's not officially a Muslim country, but I think the majority of people do.
And your family
practice. My father's, it's more from my father's side.
Right.
So my mother, she's from Ukraine, so she traveled to Kazakhstan for a project called the development of virgin lands in central Kazakhstan. That's how my parents met. And my father's actually from the last generation. His family were the last generation of semi-nomadic family. So
Wow.
they actually travelled around the country in a yurt. So I lived in a yurt a few summers when I was a kid.
Wow.
So anyway, I've witnessed a lot of that, and it occurred to me that the person that I witnessed to be killed, she had a name, and I was really, really sad because I kind of grew up with her. I'm talking about a cow. So and I declared that, and I remember my father was. I don't know whether it was real or not, but he certainly showed some pride. He looked like he was very proud, and he was telling people, like, "Oh, my son is a vegetarian," etc., etc., etc. And unfortunately, as I grew older and became an adult, I kind of grew out of it, and then went to full-time employment, etc., etc. And it's kind of not forgot, but kind of abandoned the activism roots and to focus on the career, earning money, because it was going through the breakup of Soviet Union at the time.
Right.
So quite a challenging time for everyone. We had rations, etc., etc. So it was quite challenging. So my priorities have changed at the time, but it always stayed with me in the background because I still continued sort of supporting various charities and doing a lot of volunteer work in the meantime. And then just over 4 years ago, actually became ethical vegan together with my partner Chris. We actually went vegan the same day, and we went to do our first street activism. I think it was the next day, or if not the next day, it was that weekend, and we did AV Cube of Truth.
But hold on. How did it happen? Do you probably saw something that make you, or did you do it simultaneously, or he did it first, and what was it that made you be vegan and then immediately do activism?
Yeah, what a story, right? I initiated it. Right. And I think if I actually pushed a little bit harder, I think we would have gone vegan a little bit sooner.
Right.
So, but I didn't. So it was kind of gentle. So started off with going pescatarian, as if that made a difference. which is of course, looking back now, I feel like that's just sort of ridiculous idea. However, that kind of
people do it. It's as ridiculous saying, I'm not going to eat animals that have short legs.
it was literally
because
that.
Basically they have short legs.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Exactly. And I only found out that a term fish, is not a scientific term.
That's correct.
It's culinary term.
Yeah.
And I only found out about it when I did my professional cookery school. So I do actually have qualification in professional cookery as well.
Right.
Yeah, I've done so many things.
Yeah.
So
it's correct. There's not a class of fishes. There's a class of birds. There's a class of mammals, but there's not a class in biology of fishes. There are 4 or 5 different classes within fishes.
Exactly. And I guess that kind of also gave a nudge when I started looking into that. So pescatarian, not for long, only talking about a few months, and then became a vegetarian completely. Again, that did not last long either. I became vegetarian first, and then Chris followed later. So, and what happened, we had like 1 week holiday, Chris and I, and we decided to stay in the UK. We didn't want to travel. And we got married at the time as well. So what I did, I bought us, that might actually be quite, triggering for some. It certainly would be triggering for me now. I bought a mackerel fishing trip for us.
Right.
But the reason for that was because I was already vegetarian, and I just wanted to show Chris, how it's done.
What happens?
What happens, exactly. Because it's like, well, how else am I going to kind of convince anyone without having to experience it? So we went to a local town called Christchurch, which is only just east of Bournemouth. So got on the boat and went mackerel fishing. Luckily, nobody caught anyone apart from one. And that was really, really, really sad and very triggering, because they put him or her in that plastic box when they caught him. I think it's one of the tour guides caught him, and they just chucked him in that plastic box. And Chris, I remember Chris asking me, so what's going to happen next? I was like, that's it. He's going to suffocate.
Right.
And having sort of said that out loud myself, could
That makes
also
the change.
Yeah, that
You
also
verbalize it, and then you realize. Shit.
Yeah. Even though that I already became vegetarian, it's like no fish either, because they're also animals, So it's just like, you see, it's that
I get it.
removal of brainwashing. Wash the.
And then you felt
brainwashing.
so compelled to address this problem that you become an activist, not just a vegan.
Yeah.
So quickly. And I know you've been involved in activism a lot. So With the Free is one of those organizations you've been working close, and you are working right now.
Yes.
Tell me how that started.
I was. I quickly became an organizer for Anonymous for the Voiceless locally, but then it just didn't work. So we fell out, sadly. So I was looking for another organization, and We the Free were there on the radar for a few months. I think they only just started.
I think they started in 2019 or something like that, or 18, something like that. Perhaps 20.
Yeah, as far as I know, I think it's 2021 or 22 even.
Right.
Oh, dogs. So, very, very young. Oh, come on, catch up. I'm just counting 4. So it was, very, very young organization, and very bright and colorful, quite by contrast from AV, which is black and white, straightforward. So I applied to be an organizer, and I started a team here in Bournemouth, and that would have been in March 2022. It was 2022. We're 2025. Yes, it was 3.5 years ago.
Right.
So yeah, that's it. It would have been March 2022. So, and then Chris joined me as an organizer as well. And then he started a team in Dorchester, and then I started a team in Southampton. And so we just run the teams we used to run. I left because of my full-time education last year. So.
And you also were involved, or still are, in One Planet, what is it called?
Our Planet.
Our Planet.
There's two.
There's two. Our Planet, there's two, which is the organization that started, I think, in 2011, the organization of those National Animal Rights Days all over the world. And although it started in America and in the UK, didn't catch up until much later.
Yes.
And you and Chris organized the one in Bournemouth. And last year, I came out and I gave a talk in that day about insects, because insects matter too. And that was great. And it was huge, and I was so impressed about the amount of people that were joining. Tell me more about your connection with this.
Sure. Whilst I was organizer for We the Free, I was doing all sorts of other activism as well. loads and loads and loads and loads. I felt like I was just catching up because I felt like I had to do a lot. So, and then luckily there was an opening for a board member with free, which they sort of accepted my application, and kind of had a telephone interview with James Hattersley at the time, and then a few months later they finally offered me the position. It's a voluntary position, so I did that for about a year before they actually offered me part-time a paid position to be the ambassador,
Right.
just basically helping setting up teams for recruitment process, onboarding process, etc.
Right.
So, and then through that, I met a lot of people, not just in the UK, but internationally, and I'm talking about activists. So, and one of them contacted me, I believe it was Enrique, and asked if we would organise NARD in Bournemouth.
NAR being National Animal Rights Day.
NARD, National Animal Rights Day, correct.
Yeah.
And but it didn't happen. So the year after, I reached out to him, and I said that we would quite happily sort of take it on. So I don't know if I'm misremembering exactly the
order.
The order, because everything just happened so quickly. It was just so fast. And it was relentless. Sometimes I look back and I'm just thinking, how did we even manage to do all of this in such a short period of time? Right. So, and then I believe it was Vanille then reached out. Vanille, she, my colleague from Our Planet There's Two at the time, obviously I didn't know her, but they were looking for a country coordinator in the UK as a paid job, and it's like, oh well, I'll yeah, that's fine, I'll apply. So it wasn't like a traditional application. It was done on Facebook Messenger, and it was really cool because that just shows, how the closeness of a community, I guess, and the trust as well. Aylan Morian is the founder of Our Planet There's Two. And yes, you're absolutely right. It was in 2011, maybe in this year was their 15th. So I'd say 2010, I think they had their first one in LA in North America. So, and they do National Animal Rights Day was one of the programs, and the other program is Declaration of Animal Rights.
Right.
So even though that they are kind of combined, but you can sign the declaration.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
Yeah, which is really, really a good way of introducing the animal rights and to somebody who is, I guess, new. So a really, really good approach, and I think it's very effective.
Yeah, you're doing so much stuff. It's always, I always see you everywhere. And it feels that you have been vegan for decades because of the presence that I see all the time. And it's not just these two organizations that have a very notorious presence. You actually became also a candidate of the elections for the Animal Welfare Party, which is amazing. Which, by the way, it's called Animal Welfare Party, but as far as I know, everybody's vegan. Is that right?
I don't know if everyone is vegan there, because it's they don't ask on the application, but but we'll go on the assumption that yes, it's there's that belief. So tell me where we're going now to have some tea, because I'm thirsty now already, as always, although I haven't spoken that much. But where are we going? So it's a place, Dane Port Natural Kitchen, is that right? That's correct, Dane Port. We're in West, so we're in the area of Westbourne, of Bournemouth. Dane Port, which is a natural kitchen. It's, I believe it's waste-free kitchen as well. So the owners are vegan, and they're really good advocates. Fantastic, brilliant couple run it. So we need to actually go and experience it, because whatever I say is not going to do it justice. because it's a really special place.
So have you been there many times?
I've lost count.
Really? So is because I haven't been to Bournemouth that much, how vegan friendly Bournemouth is?
Well, it's last time I looked, it was a couple of years ago. It was in the top 10, but from vegan options in restaurants. So we did have, I think, 5 or 6 vegan restaurants, but we sadly only have 3 now. But we do have some ghost kitchens that you can order from delivery, where they actually don't have a place, a physical place.
Right.
So yeah, I would say it's very, very vegan friendly, and I think particularly from activism point of view, very, very active.
Well, I noticed this because when we did the National Animal Rights Day here, which I done others, I went to Bristol and others, and I was amazed by the amount of people that joined it, because this is, for those that don't know, it's more of a kind of a funeral type of recreation, where people walk with images in silence of many animals, and there were so many people. In the end, you finish in one spot, and everybody sits there, and very silently with the placards with the different pictures of animals. It's so impressive, because if you do it 2 or 3 people, that would not make that much of an impact. But with so many people in, and that kind of is a reflection of how many vegans are in Bournemouth, I guess. But also it's up to you to have gathered them, I guess, because you do meetups and social events as well, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. Chris and I run Bournemouth vegan meetups here as well. So, and from that point of view, absolutely, it was very, very powerful. And when you see those people, coming at you in complete silence, so the whole town, I think, goes completely silent during the procession, which is, like you quite rightly pointed out, it's a funeral procession. So yeah, very, very proud of our local vegans and activists, etc. In actual fact, I think we had about 500 people in the end that actually came to the event, and I think it's 150 that joined the procession. Considering I think there's about 40 people that dropped out last minute due to personal reasons, whatever. So it would have been even much bigger.
And then there were stalls. I had the stalls in my book. And there were also stalls at the end. So it's kind of a party at the end. So it's a combination of the kind of celebration in a somber way about all the individual animals that have been exploited by humans, and then a celebration in a positive way of all the vegans that are defending their rights and protecting their animal rights. That was great. Oh, here we are. We are already here. Dane Port, green, nice greeny. Okay, let's go in. Nice. Hello.
There's Isabel over there. I will introduce you to Isabel.
Yeah. So okay, we go and you tell us everything.
Yeah, so
let's
you
go
choose where to sit. You could sit whatever you think,
Yeah,
because
let's go.
there isn't tables or there. Welcome to Dane Port.
Thank you.
So we're a natural kitchen, so plant-based or vegan, gluten-free and organic. So every day we create new dishes and serve them as dishes of the day. And our ethos is about reduce food waste in the kitchen and be creative with what's in season. So it's mainly UK grown produce. And yeah, so it grows in line with our green living ethos. Okay?
Excellent.
Everything, it's organic. So teas, we serve loose teas, so we have herbal teas, green teas, and so what sort of tea would you like?
Well,
What's
I
your
like
favorite?
herbal tea. What's your thing? What's your tea?
Well, last time we had this funny combination. It's not on the menu, and I made it up.
Yes.
Yeah, you know.
Remember.
So
that
we
is?
like I
Yeah.
like that because, as I said, all our teas are loose teas, so you could create your own combo.
Oh, I like that too.
Yeah?
Let's do this.
Yeah.
So normally you just tell us what you have.
Yeah, so we have herbal selection. We have things like chamomile, hibiscus, rose petals, lavender, And then sort of the antioxidant rich, we have a pau d'arco, which apparently has got more antioxidants than green tea, so it's really good. Then we have white tea, which is palm lutan, which is lower in caffeine. Or we have green teas with jasmine flowers. We have things like lemon verbena, rooibos. So it just depends. I always ask, do you want to feel energized? Do you want to feel calming? Or do you want to feel
How you want to be
more social?
Social.
Social, I would go for calming.
That's calm.
Yeah. So
But
how
I know the combination already. Shall I tell you?
Yeah.
Would you like to know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hibiscus and lavender.
Perfect.
Let's do that for
Beautiful.
both of us.
Okay.
Amazing combination.
That's really good.
Right. Let's continue the conversation. Now, I noticed that you have so many degrees. You have degrees in psychology. You're doing a master in forensic psychology, is that
Correct.
right? But you had another degree in psychology and political psychology or something like that.
Correct.
And arts and so many things. Many around psychology. So I want to pick up your psychological brain because being a vegan and a psychologist, that must be an advantage when you're talking to people about veganism, doing vegan outreach. And then you're a psychologist, you probably have an ability to understand more what's going on in that interaction. And my question is to you, when somebody walks in the street and see you, you're just there with a friend or somebody else, and they approach to you, and then you prepare yourself. What do you think goes into the mind of the person approaching to you? They say, oh no, I'm not a vegan, or I'm scared about this guy. What do you think is what's happening and how you use it in your favor?
It's a very good question, but I can't read minds. I think there is that common misconception. I don't know where it comes from. That if you're a psychologist, that's it. You can read other people's minds. No, not at all. Well, psychology is a science of human behavior, so that certainly helps. It really, really does help the knowledge of certain theories and how the neuroscience works in this instance as well. But to add to that, I'm also studying counseling, which is a different field. You can learn counseling without psychology and vice versa, as in it's just two separate fields of study. So I'm doing that alongside my master's in investigative forensic psychology. And yes, that knowledge, the experience helps tremendously. In actual fact, I did write my dissertation on my last master's, which is psychology, master's psychology. It's a conversion course. About how we as advocates approach advocacy,
Right.
and how we advocate for the rights of the victims, essentially. So it's quite interesting. So if you want to find out more, I can certainly send you a paper.
Sure, I will be interested. But in a nutshell, is there a shortcut? Is there a thing that you look at the person to figure out, okay, that is that type of person, therefore I should approach it in this way? Or is all about asking questions, and then through the questions you start to figure out what the person is about, and then you switch one method to another? Is that the second?
Not even that. Yes. To answer your first question, what you described is very evaluative, so there's no judgment.
Right.
Okay, I would not look at somebody who's approaching and evaluate or judge who they might be, because I don't know. Nobody knows. So I rely on the information that I'm given. So yes, this questioning, of course, that helps to ask follow-up questions, absolutely. But letting the person speak and see from their perspective always helps. And this way you can then adjust your advocacy style to each individual, because they're all different. You never know who you're going to meet during street activism. So.
And what are you aiming for when you have that conversation with somebody? Are you aiming just to deliver information? Are you aiming to create some report? Are you aiming to change the person, make them vegan on the spot? What are you aiming in your mind?
Very good question. If I were to put the activist hat on, this is the activist hat on, the end goal would be to help the person see it from the point of view of the victim, so for them to go vegan. Mm-hmm. That's the end goal, absolutely. If I would suggest anything else, I would just be doing animals or non-human animals a disservice. But I also appreciate that if you look at it philosophically, it is not my place to tell somebody what's wrong and what's right.
Right.
It is entirely person's choice, whether they want to commit a crime, whether they want to resort to things such as eating victims, non-human animals, etc., etc. It is not my place to then teach anybody morals whatsoever. What I do, though, aim to do is to invite somebody, to gently invite them into seeing it from the perspective of a victim.
Right.
So if somebody tells you, well, I don't like that, please don't do that to me, that should be enough for somebody to stop doing something. The difficulty in animal rights advocacy is that there is no direct victim. The victim is almost invisible, so we need to show it to them, the things that they go through, which can sometimes be effective. But then you're moving into the field of the animal welfare. So you need to be really, really careful.
Yeah, it's not about reducing suffering or modifying the way we exploit them. It's about stopping harm altogether. And that sometimes people don't understand it. The language of reduction suffering is easier for people to get, so that's why people fall quicker and easier into animal welfare policies and campaigns than animal rights. But we are in the animal rights vegan side, therefore for us it's not about reduction, it's about eliminating the suffering. So when I did a lot of outreach, especially before the pandemic, in the street, and I had obviously my style, everybody has his own style or her own style, and I always approach it as, I don't want to win an argument. I don't want to be in a position that we argue and then I win because my knowledge is superior, because I studied these sort of arguments before and I answered them before. So I don't think I'm achieving anything by winning an argument, because then the person becomes the loser of the argument and they leave with a sense of lost, and they associate talking with vegans with losing, with a negative feeling. And on the contrary, I always want to lose the argument. I always kind of engage, if it's an argument, or normally it's a conversation, but if there is an issue of dispute, I want the other person to go and saying, I was victorious in that intersection. But being that part, that victorious part, the part that I would have chosen anyway. Because what I do is I try just to show to the other person that I exactly like them. So I went through the same process like them. And therefore let them discover the path that I discover without me telling them, go this way, by just talking and just showing. And I often just say, even some people that are very defensive at the beginning, they say, no, I can't possibly be vegan. It will never be possible to be vegan. I don't argue with this. I look at them and say, Yeah, you probably can. You probably can. When I'm saying no, you probably can, agreeing, then the other person said, "What do you mean you probably can?" Of course I can. So you switch it, and then they are the ones saying, "I actually can do it. I can do this. I can do that." Because they will feel otherwise inferior if they cannot do something that I can do. So I always reverse psychology, the whole conversation. But I always feel that I should not win. I just should show to the other person that I like the other person. How far or close I am to the right way of doing it.
I'm not an expert. I'm myself learn different ways and what works in which different scenario. And so again, it would be unfair for me to say, it's like, well, that would be the right way, because there's so many activists and they work really, really hard. So there's in no way I would try to sort of diminish or dismiss the hard work that people are putting into it. Absolutely not. It's about something, picking a way that works for you, that does not alienate people, push them further. But also there's an element of forgiveness is required towards yourself.
Right.
Very, very important. And it was something that we forget. It's the power of play, the power of looking after yourself. And it's not something that on the surface, I'm going to have a hot bath. That's not looking after yourself. Or I'm going to buy myself a new outfit. That's not looking after yourself. I'm talking about on the deeper level, on the more wholesome level, without sort of fragmentation of self. Bringing your entire self, with your flaws and all, whatever they are, and being human, and forgive yourself if it does go the other way. You see, so absolutely, that does help. Always keep that in mind. And if you did have a sort of conversation that didn't go to plan, I would always recommend to debrief with somebody that you trust. Always, and not to kind of take it home, not particularly take it to bed and and dwell on it. Absolutely not. We're humans. Forgive yourself for that if it doesn't go that way. In terms of winning an argument, I absolutely agree with you, because it's okay to disagree. Okay, going back to teaching somebody morals, it's not our place to do that, but looking at it from the point of view of the victims. And what I like about what you said is telling a story. Often when I used to run the events, during the briefing, I would always invite that. When activists are not very confident in speaking to the members of the public, quite understandable. So I invite them to so tell a story, tell your story, because no one can argue with that. And this attitude with, how to talk to non-vegans and win every time, that kind of, even though it's, maybe a good way of looking at it, but it just gives the wrong message.
Right. I agree completely.